Hey y'all, it's Tuesday, 3 o'clock in New Orleans. Welcome to Rosetree Glass Blowing Studio. I'm Mark, I'm the owner here, along with my wife Brenda, and I'd like to show you a little bit of glass. But I promised two announcements today, and I want to give you those first, so you can think about one of them as we're doing the piece. First announcement is just kind of housekeeping. I've been told by some people it's real hard to find one of the videos if you miss it because I'm wearing the same color shirt all the time. I was branding, okay? I was told you should brand things, repetitive, whatever. So I was branding with that shirt. So now I'm going to be using a different color shirt every week or every time, so you can find the one you missed by looking for the color of my shirt. Okay, that's number one. Number two is we know that a lot of people are out of jobs, people don't have money, but there's some people doing some fantastic things. Talking about healthcare workers, and Brenda and I talked about what can we do for healthcare workers. We don't have jobs right now, we don't have money, we can't print money, but we can make glass. So what we're going to do is, every time I do one of these, I usually make a piece just to warm up the day before. So what we're going to do is, that piece is going to be given to one of the healthcare workers. So what we want you to do is, we want you to nominate one healthcare worker that you know. And what we'll do is, at the end of this, we'll give everybody a number, and then draw numbers out of the bowl. And if we draw your number, we'll contact you, or you contact us, and we will send this bowl to the person you nominate. Okay? It's just our way to try and help somebody brighten their day because of everything that they're seeing and doing. It's our little part to help out. So again, what I want you to do is during this broadcast, next to your name, I want you to put the healthcare worker you're nominating and where they're from. And then what we'll do is, and it has to be up until 10. What we're doing? We're going to close at noon tomorrow. We're going to close entries at noon tomorrow, and then we're going to pick at 3 o'clock on tomorrow. We'll pick the person who's going to receive this. Okay, so those are my two announcements. Tell your friends. You could, like I said, one thing. Rosenbaum and Redmond families, I'm sorry. I love that y'all are on the forefront here, but you can't be the ones to get the bowl. So you can, and I don't think you should nominate either, because that's kind of, so you're not going to be involved in this, but everybody else in the world, actually nominate somebody in the States, because if I send it over in the world somewhere, it's going to be really a lot of shipping. So anyway, you start now putting people on, putting people up as nominations, and I will get started. So, as I said, welcome. It's Rosetree Glass Studio, beautiful Algiers Point in New Orleans, Louisiana. What we're going to do today is we're going to make one of these color pinch bowls. And the color pinch bowls, I really like the fluidity of them, of the way the colors turn around and the way the lip kind of undulates going back and forth. And I will show you how we are going to make one. So we're going to start over here by the furnace. And if you have questions, please ask them, and Darcy will be filming me right now. Darcy will relay them to me, and I'll try to answer them while I'm working. So, those of you who have been here and have been watching, this is our furnace. Inside our furnace is molten glass. The molten glass means it was a solid usually, and now it's a liquid. And molten is very, very, very hot. So this is 2050 degrees, which makes it hotter than lava. So I'm going to take what's called a gather. My first gather, you're gathering the glass onto the pipe. So this is going to be my first gather.
I do have one question. Can they nominate more than one person?
No, I think one. I think we'll do one to start. So this is my first gather. And you can see if I stop turning, it flows like honey. So I can keep turning, keep it on the flow light. And I'm rolling, this is a steel table called a marver. And I'm rolling it on the marver to smooth it out and to kind of cool it off and to control it. So my first gather, because I smoothed it out, pulled off the edge, what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat it up and I'm going to put it in yellow chips. Now, we talk about learning art while we do this. So the color that I chose is yellow. And yellow is a primary color. And we've talked about this before. Yellow is a primary color, and there are two other primary colors. So any school kids out there, can you tell me what the other two primary colors are? I'm going to put 3 layers of the yellow on here, so we have a little time. So if you know what the other 2 primary colors are, just type it in or have one of your parents type it in, whoever's watching with you. And if by the time I don't get an answer, by the time I put all my yellow on, I'll give you the answer. An awful lot of silence out there. Now, as always, if you like the video, you can give us a thumbs up, give us a little heart thing, and let me know that you're out there. So that's layer number 2. I got one more, and I'm waiting for the answer.
We've got a lot of nominations are coming in.
Nominations,
so.
Great. Wonderful. So each layer, I'm melting it in. So you see the chips are a little smoother now, and I'm putting my last layer on.
Addie says the other 2 primary colors are red and blue.
All right, Addie.
And so does Veronica.
And all right, thank you very much. So the other 2 colors are red and blue. So primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. Now, we'll take that a little further. I'm going to melt the yellow in, and I'm going to put my bubble in it. And my second layer that I'm going to put on will have the stripe colors. And the stripe colors have 2 of the secondary colors in it. So I want to know what secondary colors are. This is something you've learned in school. I know because I've been a teacher in art school. I've been a teacher in school. I've taught art in school. So I know that this is covered. So I need to know what the 3 secondary colors are. So while I do this, I smooth it all out. I'm blowing it to the end and doing what's called an air trap. I'm trapping the air inside with my thumb, and when the cold air hits the hot glass, it heats up and expands, and if you look very carefully, you'll see that the bubble that it's starting to blow out right here. So you see that puffed out? So that tells me there's a bubble inside. So we have a little bit of time again. I'm still waiting for an answer on what the 3 secondary colors are. Addie, you in there? You know what the 3 secondary colors are? I'll give it a couple more seconds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cool. Because if I put this right back into the furnace now, it's too hot, and the glass from the furnace we'll heat this up really, really hot, and it'll make it really uncontrollable. So I'm going to wait and let this cool off. You can see it's kind of orange at the end. So I'm waiting for that orange to turn into like a cherry red. Anybody have the answer yet? Secondary colors. I'll give you a clue. Secondary colors are made by mixtures of primary colors.
Veronica said purple, orange, and green.
Thank you, Veronica. So, in these colors that I'm putting on next, I have purple and I have green and I have some blue and some white. But I do have the secondary colors that go in with the primary colors.
Vlad said black and gold because they're always second.
Vlad said that? Vlad, you disappoint me. As long as it's not, what are the Falcons colors? Red and gold? Anyway, we're off topic now. All right, so you can see that it's lost the color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another layer, another gather on top, and then roll it into my chips and pick up 2 layers of chips. Again, it's 2050 inside here. I have a big ceramic bowl inside that holds the glass in. And I'm putting another layer on top. So you see I just have a coating on top. And you see what's called a gather line. So I have a first gather line, and then there's another one above it called, that's the second gather line. And I'm going to go over and put a layer of the cool, we call it cool mix, on it, and it has purple, green, blue, and white in it. Are we still getting nominations?
Oh, yes.
Wonderful. Now remember, it has to be a healthcare worker, and I need their name and where they are a healthcare worker. So I'm going to heat this up, melt those chips in, and put one more layer on because I want it kind of dense. Dense meaning thick. If it's not dense, you'll see right through it, and you won't see the color as strong. Alrighty. So this is my second layer is done. And then I'm going to heat it up and manipulate it a little bit, so move the colors around and make the decorations that I want. Anybody have any questions out there right now? So it's a beautiful day in New Orleans. Actually, it was cool this morning. It's still a little cool, cooler than it was last week. But the sun is out. It's in the 70s today. We went for a walk this morning, and it seemed like it was in the 60s. It was almost cold enough to put on a long sleeve shirt. So I'm just smoothing this out because for the next step, I really want it all smooth. So again, this is a piece of steel that I'm rolling this on. I'm going to heat the whole thing up. So we'll play Where Are You From today. We'll go the farthest and the closest. So who is the farthest away from me right now? And who is the closest to the studio right now? Where are you looking in from? So I'm taking taking an ice pick really, and I'm doing a combing decoration. And I don't know if I've done this combing decoration before on these, but it's similar to the feathering that I did last week with, or on, that I did with the bird feeders. So you see, you only have a few seconds. You don't have a whole lot of time to do each step. So after each step, I go back, reheat it, get the whole thing hot again, and continue with the steps.
Mary wants to know, why doesn't the molten glass stick to the steel table?
Because the steel table is not hot. It's cold. Glass sticks to things that are hot.
So we've got, oops, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, you go.
We've got Kansas City, Lake Jackson, Texas.
All right.
Of course, Hammond and Metairie. Round Lake, Illinois.
That's pretty far.
Goodyear, Arizona.
That's far.
Phoenix, Arizona. We've got Maryland.
Great.
And we do have people in the neighborhood, I know that.
All right, so that's my decoration. I'm going to smooth that out because I'm going to be gathering again over top of another layer. If I don't smooth it out, every indentation that's in there, every depression in the glass will trap an air bubble. And if I want air bubbles in the piece, I want to put them in specific places. I don't want to randomly put it in because I didn't smooth it out.
We've also got North Carolina, we've got Tampa, Florida, and New York City.
Wonderful. So I think so far, New York City and Arizona will be the farthest. I know we got people in California. And
Boston,
I
Mass.
know I have people in Connecticut.
Just going to show Rachel real quick what you're making. It's our color pinch bowl. Okay.
So I am going to, there's a couple of indentations still in it that I'm going to try and smooth out. So I'm going to heat up one more time. So you see when I put it in the reheating chamber, you see kind of ridges in it, and I want to smooth those ridges out. Reheating chamber. The reheating chamber is about 2,200 degrees, so it's hotter than the furnace, but it's just for reheating. There's no glass in here. So we just keep it really hot.
Mignon wants to know, do you save the video so you can watch it later? The kids are doing homework right now.
The videos are on the Facebook site, and they stay up for a while. I'm not sure when they come down or if they come down, but they're definitely up there for a day or two or 3 or 4. I'm looking into putting them on a YouTube channel so that they'll stay on forever, and I will let everybody know when we are successful with that. We're now computer programmers too, along with being glass artists. So you'll see the decoration is very similar, except for this is closer, it's not blown out yet. So this is going to turn into that once I blow it out.
Can they nominate people who are making masks for the medical personnel and essential employees?
I think for now, no. I think people who are on the front line, in hospitals, in places where they're with patients. For right now, we might expand this another day. I know there are other people that need to be recognized, first responders, all the way to people who are stocking shelves in the grocery stores. I mean, all those people keep us safe and keep us going. So right now, I think the easiest thing for me to do was to pick a healthcare worker.
Jennifer wants to know, why is the reheat chamber hotter than the other chamber?
Because it gets the glass, it melts the glass quicker. The other chamber, if I melt the glass too hot in that chamber, the glass can actually boil. So we put bubbles into the glass that I don't really want. So there's a definite temperature that the melting furnace has to be at, and then with the reheating chamber, it can be even hotter, so I can get a lot of heat to the piece very quickly. All right, so you see it's lost most of the color. Now, yellows, reds, and oranges, when they're hot, they're dark. They see how dark that is? It's not a yellow, that's not really yellow. It'll turn into that color once it cools off, but because it's hot, it is dark like that. So I'm gonna get my final gather. And if this furnace was hotter, as hot as the reheating chamber, the glass would also be very soupy, it'd be very thin. And I'd have to put more gathers on to make a piece this size. So that's my final gather. So today's live is going to be a little bit longer than the half hour we allotted, just because I'm doing a bigger type of piece. So I thought that might be nice as my giveaway.
So Tim wants to know how large the furnace is.
The furnace, I can put 400 pounds of glass in there.
And do you work alone?
I am today. Half and half. I do work alone, but there's some pieces that I need assistance with, and won't be doing those for these right now because my assistants are on furlough right now, so they're not coming in. I'm the only one blowing, so I don't do pieces that require assistance, but I do all the transferring and everything like that. I can do all on my own.
Danielle wants to know, do all colors get darker when they're hotter, or do some get lighter?
Some of them stay the same. They don't really get lighter. They're either the same color as you see or darker because of the heat. Good question.
Brittany wants to know, how much does a bowl this size typically sell for?
Okay, so this size on our website is $220, but because of this Facebook Live thing, we're going to do 20-ish% off, so it's going to be $169 including shipping, and you can, so, wait 1 second, I'm blowing a little bit more. So this piece I'm making right now, you can buy for the $169, and that one is going to a lucky winner.
Rachel wants to know what sparked your interest in blowing glass. She said most people know what they want to do in life, and who or what was your inspiration?
I'm sorry, what?
She wants to know what sparked your interest in blowing glass,
okay,
and who and what was your inspiration?
All right, so I've always been an artist. I grew up, my father was an illustrator, my brother is an illustrator. So there was art always in my house. I didn't know I wanted to be an artist until I went away to school. I did art all the time growing up. I was inspired by when I went to art school, Tyler School of Art in Philadelphia, and I was inspired to I was introduced to glass blowing there. I was a ceramics student, and they had a studio as part of ceramics, and and when you walked into the studio, it was it wasn't as sedate as this studio. there was always and lots of action and things being made, and it was open 24 hours, and it's a 19-year-old guy. It was, lack of a better term, seductive. And I got bit, and I started then, and I've been doing it ever since. So I did what's called a jack line. These are called jacks, and I pinched the jack line in there, and what that does is it's going to be where I take the piece off the pipe later. And what I'm doing is I'm just blowing this out a little bit. So keeping that jack line in really tight. These are my calipers. As you see, I got to go a little bit bigger. Calipers measure. So just so I'm consistent with the size on my pieces, I put a caliper on each one.
What were you doing right there?
Just open the door. So I open the door wider so that I can get the piece in. So I have what's called a split door on my reheating chamber. I have 4 different measurements that I could fit different pieces in. I want to keep the doors as closed as I can, but as the piece gets bigger and bigger, I got to flip more doors open to fit it in. So, like I said, after each time I go in, I have to heat it up again while after I blow, heat it back up. That's close. Time for a new paper.
It might be a little worn there.
Right. So I'm right on with the measurement. Yeah, that's embarrassing actually. I had one of my glassblower friends tell me the other day, he was looking at, these are called Parchofis. He's like, isn't it time for new Parchofis? It's like, yeah, I guess so. All right, so I'm smoothing the bottom out and making a little indentation. And what I'm going to do is called a transfer. So transfer is moving it from the pipe to another rod so that I can open up the mouth of the piece. So right now I have a foot, a body, and that's going to be my mouth. Okay, so I'm going to take another rod, stick it on the bottom, cut it off here, and be able to open up the mouth of the bowl.
Jimmy was asking, are the heating chambers and ovens custom built?
Pretty much, yeah. We built some. The furnace I bought from a friend. But a lot of stuff is self-built or adapted. Okay, another layer, another bit of glass.
Lori was asking what that glove was made of. The piece of paper.
Oh, it's actually it's a carbon graphite impregnated cloth. It's not really a glove, it's a cloth. So I got a little bit of glass on the end. I'm making an indentation because I want to take this off at the end of the piece, so that's going to help taking that off. And I'm putting this right in the middle. So this is hot, this is hot. That's why it's sticking. If this isn't too hot or that isn't too hot, then it's going to fall off. So hopefully I didn't just jinx it. So I'm using a file that has a little bit of diamond on it and some water. So I am creating a stress line that's going to break off hopefully right there. And then go back in and heat the lip up. So I got to flash the whole piece, make sure the whole piece is at the right temperature, and then I come back and just heat up the lip.
Doris wants to know, what do you do with the discarded glass pieces in the metal container on the floor?
Some of those I sell. I have some people who use my shards to make their artwork with glass and resin paintings, and they use those as elements in their shard paintings.
And Danielle wants to know, how hot is the studio? It looks like it would be crazy hot while working.
It's not bad right now.
Mm-mm.
It's actually very nice right now. I don't have my big fans on right now. I don't have a lot of the floor fans on, just because of the noise they make. We have very high ceilings here. It's an old movie theater that we're in. So those are, all the way up is probably 40 feet. And I have vents at the top. We have doors, 4 doors, 2 doors on each side of the studio, and 2 big fans inside the hoods. So it moves the air pretty quickly through here. In the summertime, it gets up to maybe 105, which in a glass blowing studio in the summertime really isn't that bad, especially in Louisiana. So now I'm using the jacks and I'm opening this piece up a little bit because I'm going to have to trim it. And I'll explain you trimming in 1 second. Getting set up for my next move.
So Rachel was surprised that you don't hit the sides of the furnace, or probably your reheating chamber there.
That's just doing it a whole lot. It's experience. And sometimes you do. So I hope everybody's still nominating.
Do you want to go over it real quick again?
Don't forget to do that. So, yeah, let me trim this and then we'll talk. So, I'm using a pair of shears, which are just heavy-duty scissors, and I'm cutting the lip to make sure that it's very even. And then I'm going to go and heat it up one more time and start doing the pinches. For lack of a better word, the contest we're running is you nominate a healthcare worker who's out there working, and we are going to put names in a bowl and draw a name tomorrow to win that bowl right there. And get your nominations in by noon tomorrow, and we'll do the drawing at 3 o'clock.
Tim wants to know who's narrating. Is it your daughter?
No.
Nope.
That's Darcy. She could be my daughter. I mean, young enough to be my daughter, but no. My daughter is Marcy, and she's a nurse at Children's. And
I just work here.
what's that?
I just work here.
You don't just work here. You're an essential cog in the whole Rosetree machine. All right, so now I'm going to make those little twists in the top. Or so I'm just pinching, which is why we call this a pinch bowl. So you see, when it's hot, it's really malleable, which means you can move it a lot. And next step is going to be opening it a little bit. So each time I'm going in and flashing the whole piece, so the whole piece has a certain temperature to it. And then I'm hard heating the part that we're going to manipulate, change the shape of.
Marianne was telling me that Scott says hello and to make sure to keep you straight.
Hello, Marianne. Hello, Scott. Marianne and Scott are friends of ours that have been taking our Blow Your Own experiences. They've been doing those here since we started almost 10 years ago. And hopefully, when all this is passed, we'll start that back up, and hopefully all you people who are watching will be inspired, and if you're in New Orleans or come to New Orleans, you'll sign up for one of our Blow Your Own experiences. So I just opened the mouth a little bit more. Now I'm going to use the heat of the reheating chamber to open up the lip. So I keep turning, and by centrifugal force means the pressure is going, as I'm turning it, it's making the glass want to move to the side and open. So I'm going to use that to my advantage, and you'll see when I come out that the lip of the piece, the mouth of the piece, is going to be wider.
So Gabe and Celia say they love and miss you.
Hello, Gabe and Celia. Love and miss you too.
And Brenda said I'm your adopted daughter, so it's okay.
Okay, good. So I'm going to push these in and pull these out. And it's kind of square looking, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Hard for me to see at that angle.
Looks pretty good at this angle.
All right, so that is our pinch bowl. And you can see by the color now, and the color is going to cool. This looks like it's red, but it's not. It's actually yellow. So this piece that I'm just finishing is for sale. The piece that I did yesterday as my practice piece is the one we're going to give away. So I'm coming over here to my crack-off table, and if I put the rod on, it's called the punny on correctly, if I just tap it, or not, it comes off. And I'm going to take a torch, and I'm going to what's called fire polish where that broke off. And that smooths out the rough spots, because you don't want to cut yourself on it. And take my high heat gloves, color pinch bowl, it goes in this oven. This oven is called an annealing oven. What the annealing oven does is the annealing oven is at 900 degrees, and when I'm done with that piece, it's still about 1,000, 1,100 degrees or so. It's put into the annealing oven where it stabilizes at 900 degrees and then slowly cools down to room temperature over about 16 hours. If I just left it out to cool on its own, it would go from hot to cold too fast and it will crack. So this anneals the piece and makes it safe and not want to crack or explode. And that's the color pinch bowl.
Do you want to do one more time on the
Okay, so let's go.
nominating?
Darcy says, one more time, make this clear. Okay, so
Just for the people who came in late.
people who came in late. Because what we want to do, how I explained it was, my wife Brenda and I wanted to do something for healthcare workers because they're out there, making themselves in dangerous positions, and we really appreciate what they're doing. But because we really are unemployed right now, I thought, I can't make money, but I can make glass. So what we're going to do is give this away to a healthcare worker and show our appreciation to them. The way to do it is by your name, put the name of a healthcare worker that you know and where they're working, and tomorrow, everything has to be in by tomorrow at noon. At 3 o'clock, I will pull the name, your name and their name. I'll get in touch with you, and we will ship this to a lucky recipient. That's our little part of what we're trying to make the world a better place. So that's our glass blowing for today. I'm so glad you came. Really appreciate you coming in. I can't be with people, so I'm glad you can come in here and do this. We do it every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 o'clock. We're going to start our Mother's Day series on Thursday, so keep an eye out for that. As always, be good to one another, love one another. Thank you all for being here. Take care.